saying Luka Dončić is out of shape is offensive to out of shape people.
Yeah.
Like, you eliminate the notion that you are out of shape if you've dropped 40 points once in your life.
Yes, I will say, as a woman who's been on the internet at my thinnest and still had people be like, fat arms, whenever a male athlete's weight is referenced, I go, we are the same. Hello and welcome to the second episode of Co-Captains. I am Megan Gailey, joined by my co-host, my husband, and the father of my children, C.J. Toledano.
How's it going? That's an incredible intro.
And we're at the week sort of before the Super Bowl.
Yes.
When usually you get to just kind of chill.
Quiet.
You get to go, what's going on in Orlando? Let's see whose kids are cute. And then a doozy, a bombshell of maybe the craziest NBA story in a decade is dropped in our lap Saturday evening, like a gift from Adam Silver himself.
Well, I want to start there because I feel like, and I've seen a lot of content on TikTok of like, where were you? It seems like one of those moments of like, I remember where I was when this happened.
Yes.
And I think our interaction, even though we both love sports, is kind of representative of how a lot of people found out about this. Because remember, Saturday night, 10 o'clock, 10:30 Pacific.
Yeah.
The craziest trade to ever happen, almost in sports, I think, ever.
Your
occurred.
mind is elsewhere on a Saturday evening.
So let's just like recount how that happened.
Okay.
You had a friend over. You were watching a Bravo thing?
My dear friend Mara was over. We were watching The Crappies, which is a made-up award show from a podcast called Watch What Crappens that covers Bravo shows. I love them. Yeah. Ben and Ronnie, hello. If you're watching, my angels.
Yeah. It's Saturday night, and, sort of this phase in my life as a dad, like, weekends are huge. We are taking our kid during the day, taking him to so many activities.
Oh, we went to see Dog Man. Yeah. 2 thumbs up.
Oh, huge fans of Dog Man. I was laughing at every hard jokes. That's the thing, is like, there were lots of jokes that translate for adults.
More. You laughed at Dog Man more than any child in the theater.
Yes.
Every family I know that has a boy has gone to see Dog Man. It made almost $37 million. Like, the movies are back, and it's Dog Man.
Dog Man is here to stay.
Wicked probably too.
Anyways, so it was like, I'm gonna chill. Lakers Knicks was on. I'm gonna chill, have a chill night in. You hung out in the living room. I hung out upstairs watching the Laker game. Laker game was over. I'm just chilling, scrolling through TikTok.
Mara and I got a incredible Italian dinner, really high-end, nice Italian meal that Mara paid for. And asked if CJ wanted anything, and he said no, and then he got Popeyes instead.
Listen,
by himself.
This is I think another preview of marriage is like, when you love each other, you understand, hey, I want to skip out on the very expensive Italian takeout to get Popeyes. Yeah. And you were totally cool with that.
Absolutely. It's like, great. Yeah. That probably means my friend will want to be my friend longer, that she's not also buying my husband dinner.
Anyways, we're everyone's chilling. All of a sudden, I'm on my phone. I get a text. I'm in a group text with a bunch of other people that I've worked with in sports. One of them, it includes Omar Raja. He's in the text thread, who works at ESPN. And one of our other friends goes, "Omar, did your boy get hacked?" Referring to Shams, who Omar is friends with, because Shams broke the news that Luka Dončić got traded to the Lakers in return for Anthony Davis, which he just dropped that tweet as if it was just like any old
business as usual.
Yeah, business as usual. And there was like 4 minutes where people were like, he's hacked. It's fine. I texted our other friend, Josiah Johnson, king of NBA Twitter. And Josiah was like, he was hacked. And I was like, no, I don't think he was hacked. Omar says it's real. And so I am freaking out. And I did this, oh my God.
Which you do all the time.
And then explain why that oh my God is a big red flag.
He'll do, oh my God, and then be like, bippity boppity and boopity boopity just got called up from the G League. And it's like,
an example of bippity boppity is like Dorian Finney-Smith signing to the Lakers.
No, Dorian Finney-Smith is a name I know. You will be saying like deep cut names that I'm like, this is not oh my God yelling in the middle of
Yeah.
Target moment. I think something has gone wrong with someone in our family. There has been sort of globally a news story, and it's just like, oh my God, a 10th man is moving to a different roster.
But this, oh my God.
You're the boy who cried, oh my God.
I know. And I am like, with the way, the world is, the events that are happening, I am trying to watch my oh my gods. But I feel like, and do you agree, this oh my God was warranted?
Yes. You came down the stairs and
Mara, who knows sports, but isn't like...
went to UCLA, dated a Duke basketball player, and texted me the next day and goes, we didn't give C.J. enough of a reaction because you came down the stairs, we're mid like finding out who's the biggest villain on Bravo in this one world that we like. And you're like, the biggest trade in NBA history has just happened. And we were like, love you, thank you. And it was shocking. I also think it was one of those things that didn't fully sink in.
It still hasn't sunk in.
Just because of like the timing and the so out of left field that it felt, that we're all still processing.
And I think, and I've been trying to, again, the last, 3 days, I've been trying to figure out what makes this trade so insane. Is that, like, with Kawhi, when everyone knew he was coming to LA, but it was, is he coming with Lakers? Like, we knew that was free agency time.
Jimmy Butler wants to go somewhere.
These are stories that build up over weeks, sometimes months.
The decision was a whole produced TV show.
There's an event that occurs that is like, oh, maybe that person wants out. They've, haven't managed to win a championship for 3 straight, trips. This is crazy because Luka and the Mavs just went to the finals last year. Also, like, the Dallas Mavericks, I think a lot of it has to do with Dirk Nowitzki. He was, an international star who won a championship there, retired there. We saw Luka come in, and it's like, oh yeah, this is the second version of that. Why would Luka leave?
Kyrie is there. The only headlines we're seeing about Kyrie are so wholesome, just like meeting crying fans after the game.
It was a good situation over there.
Yeah, it really seems like, oh, okay, this experiment or dynamic that maybe everyone was unsure about is working, and they just came up against a better Celtics team in the finals.
And so to add to this already crazy thing that Luka is no longer a Dallas Maverick, he is on the Lakers. Yeah. Which is a franchise that is known for, it's LA, one of the biggest markets. Also, shout out to Dallas. It's actually the 4th biggest market in all of sports, from what I've heard. But the Lakers...
From Jerry Jones.
Yeah. The Lakers just manage to land stars every decade.
And they were on the receipt, like the Mavs reached out to the Lakers under the dark of night. There is something so reality TV traders of this, of like when you
Traders, a show that our son watched.
Please don't bring that up.
Okay, sorry.
When I came upstairs afterwards and was like, how are you? You are a crazed NBA fan, Lakers fan. And you were like, LeBron didn't know. And I'm like, there's no way that's true. That's so sweet that like you believe that. And I want you to hold that near and dear and carry that with you for the rest of your life. But like LeBron knew, he orchestrated this. But like as time goes on, it seems like maybe he didn't know, unless he's giving an Oscar-winning performance even more so than his Space Jam one.
I don't think this deal gets done if anyone knew outside of
share an agent.
Nico Harrison, Rob Pelinka, and Jeannie Buss.
Okay.
Or in the Adelsons, who also are the new management group over the
Mavs.
Yeah. But it is one of those things that until he plays, it's weird. It is crazy. I didn't know for the first 24 hours how to feel. I feel like, and again, this is a show through the lens of parenting, I do feel like it got more real as, our son woke up and I walked into the room and I said, Conrad, Luka Dončić is on the Lakers.
Because he has a little Luka squeezy mate guy.
Anyone who follows me on TikTok knows that our son collects these little squeezy guys, and he knows NBA players via these little squeezy mates.
And Luka is an OG squeezy mate.
Oh yeah, there was one of the first.
One of the first 4 or 5.
And so it's
now
just
there's 40.
Yeah. And so our son, he it was fun. Like Luka Dončić was a fun name for him to say, and now he is going to be a player that he is going to follow and watch for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah, he's now started saying Luka Dončić is my favorite player. Upsetting for me. I really was holding out hope for, he loves to go, Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
And that was, I was hoping.
He still will.
How he says that name would be in there. I am personally having to look within myself because I'm not a huge Luka fan.
Yeah.
And I'm actually not a huge AD fan. But I probably like Anthony Davis a little bit more and liked rooting for him. The knocks on Luka are that this is the outside world saying this, that he's out of shape, maybe drinks too much, and is a whiner. And I had to look within myself and go, those are the knocks on me too. And so maybe I have a problem with Luka because I have a problem with myself. Well, and so now I love Luka.
And that's what I do want to say as thinking about this and seeing the criticism is like saying Luka Dončić is out of shape is offensive to out of shape people.
Yeah.
Like you eliminate the notion that you are out of shape if you've dropped 40 points once in your life.
Yes, I will say as a woman who's been on the internet at my thinnest and still had people be like fat arms whenever a male athlete's weight is referenced, I go, we are the same. When someone comes into training camp and they're like 20 pounds overweight and it's every story, I go, reach out to me. I feel you. I'm knock-kneed and I have had people comment on how my chin looks on the internet when I thought I looked the best I've ever looked. So it's something that I go, we're all, me, Luka, we're all the same.
Well, and so I think this is why this should be a positive story, even though you're not particularly a Lakers fan. I think Luka is sort of representing the resisting or like the pushback against these armchair quarterbacks, these fans on the internet who are super negative and like blah, blah, blah. Even though people do love Luka.
Yeah, Mavs fans taking to the streets.
And like I have texted personally, like it is another thing. I feel like, again, world events are happening. And luckily this is one that has like shook everything. And, but this is one, everyone is safe.
Yeah.
But I was texting my closest Mavs friends and saying, hey, man, I'm really sorry. Even though Luka came to our team. And I was like, it's almost like I wanted a Luka Dončić type player and level player, but I almost didn't feel good about it. And like I've almost gotten over that because now a lot of my friends who are Mavs fans are like, we're becoming Lakers fans. Which again is like...
Because the Lakers need so many more fans.
Yeah. And that's another thing of like, it is wild. And you've even said to me in the last few years where the Lakers have had trouble, and you're like, you're going to stick with the team. And I'm like, I'm going to.
Yeah.
And I kind of had a hunch that it would work out for the Lakers because players, athletes,
17 championships. I wonder.
They do want to come to LA, and I do. I've had some criticisms of Rob Pelinka and the Lakers front office, but at the end of the day, it is Los Angeles. It is the Lakers. I mean, think about this. Like, Luka grew up loving Kobe Bryant. He had a great moment with Kobe in that historic, I think historic game where Kobe in his, with G.G. courtside in that orange WNBA hoodie, just had to show respect to Luka, and like you're like, wow, he's meant so much for this current generation of superstars. He had a moment with LeBron, and then I think Luka, if you were to ask him who his second favorite player growing up was, it's LeBron. This is a kid. He's still 25. He's getting to play with LeBron.
I feel like we've known him so long, and you're like, you're 25?
Yeah.
because you can't rent a car until you're 25.
Yeah.
Do you think they waive that when you're an NBA superstar?
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's buying a car.
Yeah, maybe
in
he's
every
not
town he
going
needs
to
visit.
Avis
Yeah.
like I am.
Which I did want to bring this up. Like I got to work with him on a Jordan Brand shoot, and this is like, and these are the things I'm remembering now as to like, I almost had it in the last 48 hours. Had to convince myself to be so excited for Luka, even though it's awesome. I do think he is like an interesting and unique sports personality. When I first met him, he drove up in a like SUV Lamborghini that was just mud covered all over it. So I love a sports star, like a celeb who like uses their crazy rich toys. So like SUV Lamborghini, and he like came out wearing sunglasses. Like to me, he's like a Balkan Kenny Powers.
I was just gonna say that,
but
I was gonna say Danny Powers because I forgot his name.
Kenny Powers, Eastbound and Down, if you haven't watched it. And also too, like his fashion. It isn't like you see like the SGAs or the Russell Westbrooks. I think Luka is more so like how the way he dresses in his like tunnel outfits are like how a normal person who wins the lottery overnight would dress. Like I think he is like a man of the people, even though he is like it didn't come up in America. Like this is what an American star looks like. So I just think there are so many facets of Luka that I'm like now going to really celebrate.
Okay, on the flip side, you gain Luka because you're losing Anthony Davis, who I think you could make an argument has been the best Lakers player over the last year and a half.
It is. I also have learned to love, and it hasn't been hard. Learn is like a harsh word, but like AD is an incredible player. He is 32.
Helped bring a title here.
There aren't that as many talented big men. Like the Lakers this year already have had like a defensive issue, and all of our defense just sort of came down to AD, and then LeBron having his like freak 40-year-old moments. But yeah, we lost that.
And Max Christie.
I love Max Christie. I love Max Christie, who is a defensive dog. He is a young dog. And that's the thing is like, and you know this, I fall in love with
all of them.
All these Lakers players.
All of them. They could just bring a man who's never played from Slovenia and you'd get his jersey.
So can I ask you, as the wife of a Lakers fan, what is sort of what? Because you said it the other day. I don't think you really meant it that much, but you are, I guess, worried or annoyed.
I said this trade hasn't been worse for anyone than me, because you were already at a 10, already watching every single game. And like you and I get into these sort of like arguments sometimes that are like kind of real, kind of not real.
They can get cutting.
Where you're like, well, you do this with the Colts, and it's like I listen. I am obsessed with the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
They play 17 games a year, and this year I watched probably what equaled 1.5 games, just because they're on Sunday morning, and I scheduled ballet class, so I would miss the first half because we usually come out bad. Like I sort of arranged my mental health in a way where I'm not living and dying by everything they're doing, because it would cause me deep stress and pain that would rub off on you. And you are the opposite, where you arrange your entire life around being able to watch the Lakers, who have 82 games a year. So we're talking 7 times the amount of games. And a whole, like, you see another Colts fan, that's a few and far between.
I've seen when Megan runs into Colts fans in anywhere but Indianapolis, it is hilarious.
Oh,
what happened
when we were in Oceanside, there was
California.
a guy, and he was like across the street. He wasn't even close, and I knew from the moment I saw it, I go, that is a crisp Anthony Richardson jersey. So I'm
not something you see every day.
I'm driving 6 family members in our car, roll down the window. I said, is that an Anthony Richardson jersey? And the guy was like, what? And then I go, is that an Anthony Richardson jersey? And he said, yeah. And I go, hell yeah. And he goes, hell yeah. Like,
and that was nice. That was like, man, my wife really is a fan.
Oh, I love them. But you are so consumed by the Lakers that it's like you are already maxed out.
Yeah.
And now we're adding more to it. And I'm like, this is going to mean more merch, more games we have to go to, more living and dying by. I mean, you think they're going to win a title every single year. And I understand that that's a possibility because like they do things like this, but it's just like my expectations going into Pacers, Colts, it's just like, let's have a fun time.
Yeah.
And I hope we have some moments and I get to fall in love with these guys some more, but I'm not like the Colts are going to win it all this year. Like, and you believe in a way and your delusion is more valid than mine, but I'm just like, I cannot believe.
Yeah.
And now I also feel like I've lost my son to the Lakers. I feel like it's a wrap for me.
Yeah. All extremely valid. And what I will say, apologies in advance, but also I will work on that. I do agree about our son. It is borderline brainwashing.
Yeah. And the Pacers send me custom Megan Gailey Pacers gear.
Tell the Pacers to send stuff in toddler sizes.
Well, but I'm just saying the Lakers don't know you or care about you.
Yeah.
And the Pacers know me and care about me. Their star player lives a block from my parents' home.
Yep.
So I'm like, Conrad, stick with the Pacers. You can meet them. Like they will be your friend.
Here's what I'll say to that. I make sure I've gotten Conrad some good Pacers gear.
Yeah.
And then also, and you're right, the Pacers have shown so much love to you. I've in the last month argued with the Lakers store
about the placement of a 4
on the Dalton Connect jersey that I ordered.
I would, if the Pacers store, I go, you guys are doing the Lord's work. Thank you.
Yeah. Quick story, and then we'll move on from this. But yeah, I ordered a Dalton Connect jersey.
Which just, I think, shows the level of mental illness we're talking about here.
Who has since cooled off, but I think he's an incredible player. I think Steele at 17 in the draft. Got the jersey. The 4 looked off. And it was so I emailed the Lakers store very politely and said, hey, I think the 4 is off. Took a picture of it. Here's a picture that I saw of him holding the jersey or whatever. And they're like, nope, that's how they come. And again, it was also like sort of their tone and the way
they had a sassy tone. You know why? Because they're the Lakers store. And they're like, if you don't want it, there's 18 Filipino men behind you that'll take it.
And so, had a bit of an argument. I ended up keeping the jersey. And
he's shown it to so many people.
Shown it to so many people.
And everyone's like, I think that looks right.
Yeah. And the thing is, it does look right. And it's the city jerseys, again, and I'm not going to criticize. I don't know who's behind some of those jerseys. The 4 is a different placement than the other 4s on the other jerseys.
I know.
Anyways, but that's how much I am a fan.
Yeah.
And I'm going to work on that.
Yeah.
And I do thank you for agreeing or realizing the gravity of what just had happened.
And I buy you tickets.
Oh my gosh.
We go to games. Like, I'm not like, don't you utter.
Yeah.
The color purple in this house,
Yeah.
except for The Color Purple is my favorite book of all time. But I'm saying
you're referring to the Lakers.
I wasn't referring to the Alice Walker. Mega
if I was talking
hit.
about The Color Purple in our house, you'd be like, my husband is awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean it's an incredible life-changing book. But I am supportive of you because I know you love it. But there are times where everyone who's ever met you or knows you has been like, he got to take it down a notch.
Yeah. I agree. And all husbands out there, man, that's my advice to you is you can love sports as much as you want, but maybe do some of that, to yourself, to your buddies, your wives. They have to give birth. And that is insane. Just save their ears.
I work in sports.
And you work in sports.
No wife is talking about sports with their husband.
Yeah.
More than me. So it's like, if even I'm like, this is too much, it's too much. Okay, we are Angelinos.
Yes.
Do you have any LA advice for Luka?
Because I think he has kids, or I don't know if he has kids.
One kid.
Okay, one kid.
He has a daughter. She was born in 2023.
Okay,
this is always a really fascinating
close to Conrad's age
thing for me when trades happen.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis has 3 kids.
Yeah.
So just those 2 players. I don't think Max Christie has any kids, and the 2 players Max Kleber might have kids.
Maxi Kleber, yeah.
It's Maxi.
I think it was.
It is. There is an I.
Yeah.
That's a cute name.
But I think they'll say Max.
So, okay. So the big blockbuster, 2 guys, 4 kids involved in those. Anthony Davis's daughter, Nala, is 6. So she's in school.
Yeah.
So does she stay here, finish the year? Then he has 2 boys whose names have never been released, and they're younger. I love this. So I guess Nala was born. TMZ got the name, or somehow this was like probably a slightly pre-emojis on kids' faces.
Yep.
So Nala's name is out there. She has been photographed at lots of games. Then the 2 boys happen, and they're like, no, you're not getting access to our boys. But they do also exist. So we're talking like for Luka, I'm guessing there's a nanny. Or he's referenced losing sleep during the night. And I'm like, what? Luka's getting up?
Yeah, I think they probably have night nurses and
yes. He's also said that since she's been born, she has made him the happiest man on earth.
Yeah.
Like he speaks about her beautifully.
Yeah.
So it's like, does the nanny move with them?
I don't think so, unless that nanny is like, probably young and
I bet she does. I bet she does.
That's a big job opportunity.
I bet she lives with them.
And I will say, it's like, with a lot of these athletes, these kids sound young enough, or like they're like at an age where like, they're probably excited, or they're not going to remember having moved to LA, and LA is going to be all they know, or like Dallas, and
Nala's like, I'm not going to Dallas.
I think it's like even more of like a military kids. It's almost, you can compare it to them. Like it is like a lot, but it does shape them in some positive ways. But it's got to be like, my dad, I mean, I think about like Ish Smith, who played on like almost like every NBA team, new team every year. Like if he had any kids, like, I've lived in 18 different places because my dad is Ish Smith.
But I think at that point, you just pick a location and like, and then it's like, hey, I'm from, like Paul George is on the 76ers, but like he's from Palmdale, I do believe he lived in the Palisades, so I don't know if his home made it. But like, I think at some point you go, we just have to pick a home base, and you can come and go. I remember seeing Devontae Adams on the Netflix doc, was it Receivers?
Yeah.
And they threw that massive party for one of his kids, and all the dads were like, I didn't know you were Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
And then when he got traded to the Jets, I kept thinking like, those kids are staying in Vegas, right? At least because I don't think he's going to be on the Jets next year. So it's like, you can't uproot, especially when these trades are happening. Like, it does seem, I think it's an added layer that we as just sort of fans sometimes don't think about, of like whole families, whole like house staffs, drivers, them with the staff in the stadium. Those are really relationships that they genuinely have, much beyond just like coworker. That are effective.
I think that should just be like a running question that we ask like celebrity guests, or athlete guests when they come on. I think it is probably case by case. Like, like some athletes, they keep their barbers. They fly their barbers out. Or that barber doesn't even move, but they fly them in every time they need a haircut.
Even my own dad, like not an NBA player, not an athlete, but
he's not?
No, he was a corporate human resources, let's say genius, okay? And he'll like that.
Yeah.
And he worked Monday through Thursday or Friday in Appleton, Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and my mom and I stayed in Indianapolis, and we were like, listen, we're staying in Indy.
And I don't think there is like a guidebook, or like, here's what you do when you are traded and your kids have been in this school for 4 years or whatever. I think with players who do know that they're on the move, I think they do like have a home base. Like, hey, everyone's, we're going to get through this season and I'm going to be home for 4 months. I just think it's case by case. And like, it is like, as a parent, that is another example of like, you go to extreme lengths to look out for the best of your kid, regardless of like, making millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, which is part of the reason LeBron wanted to come here. He wanted his kids to be raised in LA and have sort of Los Angeles access to their own athletic careers. Oh my gosh.
It's a lot. It really is a lot.
Finding a new daycare?
Yeah.
I guess if you're really rich, maybe someone finds daycares for you. I gotta get one of these jobs where I because I remember meeting the woman who was the realtor for all the Bulls.
Yeah.
Like her husband was maybe in the front office, and it was just like whenever the Bulls drafted someone, traded someone, if someone was joining the staff in any way, it was like, here's Carol, she'll find you a house. And it's like, that's a good gig to be in with one of these teams.
Our realtor sold... I can't even. I almost said the name of it. I don't think he wants to say it.
Our realtor was also on a reality show.
Shout out Eric.
Oh, love Eric with a K. He was on like a VH1 reality show.
Okay. Should we? That's a lot of basketball. Should we talk?
We'll take a
football?
basketball breather.
Basketball breather. All right. So the Super Bowl is happening this weekend,
which means the Pro Bowl just happened.
The Pro Bowl just happened. I don't think you're gonna find two people who love the Pro Bowl as much as we do.
I don't know that I would say I love the Pro Bowl.
I just think it's fun. I feel like people hate on it and make it a joke, but I genuinely at my bachelor party we watched old QB challenges. It is cool to see what.
That's just
most bachelor parties have other things, but I'm like, hey,
That's your entertainment.
Let's watch Harbaugh do that moving target practice thing. That's cool.
Let it rip.
Love Pro Bowl.
I've been to a Pro Bowl.
Okay.
It was the first year that it was in Orlando and not Hawaii.
That seems
that's
like
a tough
comedy
break
of errors. Yeah.
You're in it for the skills challenges. I'm in it for the children and the wives. It's the same reason I watch Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
I'm like, give me the toddlers.
Very wholesome.
Give me the wives. My favorite clip that came out of this past weekend was Marshall Manning.
Yes.
Peyton Manning's son. Peyton has twins, boy and a girl. Marshall is like a preteen, maybe a teen, braces, and he is throwing passes.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Taylor, Colts running back, is on mic being like, damn.
Yeah.
You got an arm on you. And everyone's reacting to this is the future, Marshall Manning.
I think, this has happened so much that we all got to know, this is a clip that's going to be ran when Marshall Manning, beats
goes to Texas.
It goes to Texas.
Goes to Tennessee.
There's literally, the Manning family is hilarious because at every level there is look at this star quarterback in the making.
They just breed quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I met Marshall Manning when he was maybe 5 or 6 when I wrote for the ESPYs and Peyton was hosting. He came in, sat on his dad's lap as we were doing a read through of jokes that maybe were okay for Marshall Manning to hear or not. And now just with his braces, just letting it rip. Yeah.
No, it'll never get old seeing a new Manning appear and throwing a football. That's just it's Steph Curry shooting threes when he's a toddler with Del Curry. Even though, that's the thing is but the Mannings, every single Manning has been legitimately, a star.
Yeah. Now we're on our third generation. There was other Manning footage that came out of it. Eli's son was doing the gritty with Justin Jefferson.
That's the one that I saw.
Yeah, and that was cute too.
So it's safe to say there's always going to be a Manning in every single we're going to see the Mannings at the Super Bowl in some way.
Of course, and for me that's my dream come true.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Super Bowl is Sunday.
Yeah.
Now, we said on last week, this isn't maybe necessarily the Super Bowl that we wanted, but it's the Super Bowl we've got.
Yeah.
So we've got to make the most of it. I think Kendrick winning all these Grammys and shouting out LA made me just even that much more excited for the halftime show.
Yeah.
Also, I saw this story. I am rooting for the Eagles for multiple reasons. I love Jalen Hurts. I love Saquon, the man who eats poop. Okay. But also, I saw...
Call back to the first episode.
I saw this story about 5 former Georgia Bulldogs who were all drafted out of Georgia, now play for the Eagles, and all of their moms are on a text thread, call themselves, their group name is Moms on the Move, and they are like a family, like a sisterhood bond. All the sons refer to themselves as being like brothers, and the moms text each other. Like if one of their sons has a big play, they're like, oh my God, shouting each other out. And then the thing that really warmed my heart is that they're like, if one of us for some reason can't be at a game, even though they try and go to every game, but if there's a reason we can't be there, we know that there's another mom who thinks of our son as a son. They're watching them.
We were talking about Jaden Daniels' mom, and like I do think, and I remember how I was in my 20s. If I was an NFL player, like you do need like a mom, like a parental presence, and for a bunch of moms who have kids on the team to like have that like communication, that bond, like that's really nice.
And to just think about these 300-pound defensive linemen, and the first and most important person in their life is still their mama.
Yeah.
I mean, that Hard Knocks scene that was with the was it with the Bears, where the guy like tears his ACL and he's just waiting for his mom, and they really let that moment breathe of him and his mom embracing. I think it ties back to what we were saying earlier of like Luka is not just like a chess piece. Like he has a whole family that comes with him. These players, even the Travis Kelce's and the Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes just had a third kid, and they show Brittany on the sideline snatched, and then I'm like, what? Brittany, you're making us all look bad. But also, like, how are you getting sleep? Are all the kids going to New Orleans? Like, I do think that's what's so special about the Super Bowl is that everybody gets to go. Like, family, staff, my friend who works for United and, like, charters planes for college athletics and professional athletics. She's like, I'm going to the Super Bowl, you know? And so it ends up being this, like, whole team, extended family, sort of beautiful experience. Now the Chiefs have had it enough.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with all of that.
But like Moms on the Move,
Cool.
I'm so excited to be rooting for your sons, and I would love to interview you, like a sit-down interview with Moms on the Move. Invite.
We should interview them on the show.
They're all gorgeous too.
All right. I wanted to shout out two very, very relevant to our podcast videos that I saw on social media this week. The first one, and this just goes, it's with LeBron and Allen Iverson's mom, who I will say, since Allen Iverson's retired, is like now known for his just like love and respect and like showing up for the younger generation, the generations that followed him. So like I've always known, like Iverson, he's courtside, he's hugging, like when Kobe passed away, he was hugging every player and just like consoling them. And like he could have been a guy who just like disappeared, but has just always been there. I don't know where this happened, but Iverson's mom like waited for LeBron and just to show love and like waited as if he was his own or her own son.
Yeah, she even says like, I love my baby LeBron.
Oh my God. And I think that's like, you know, we shout out those moms of the Eagles. Like these moms, they feel like moms to all these players. And, you know, it's like without Iverson, we wouldn't have LeBron. And so I just love that. Like
she's probably known him since he was 16 years old.
It was such a nice moment.
I'm so glad that the way people speak about Allen Iverson has changed.
Yes.
And I think we don't have that language in media anymore, which is great. But you and I both like loved Allen Iverson growing up, and there were like older generations or parents that were like, oh, like his shorts are long and he's tattooed, like he's bad. And it's like, how? He's not doing anything bad. He's an incredible player. He's truly all heart. And I feel like he's someone that since he's retired, his star has like ascended even more.
Yeah.
I would, if he wants to wait after this podcast to get a hug, I would love that. Oh my gosh, I love Allen Iverson.
And I don't need to shout out LeBron anymore. And like, it is so nice that he's like, I gotta go see Allen Iverson's
Yeah, he shows
mom. Like,
love.
take time, you know. It's
he
like,
shows love,
and he also shows love to his mom so much too. And again, like you're a mom, like how important would it be that Conrad, after whatever he does, and he's a big celebrity or whatever, and he's like, oh, my mama.
My gosh, so sweet. Another video that we absolutely loved was PJ Washington of the Mavs, still on the Mavs.
Yeah.
We see a video of his son who looks about 2 or 3.
Yeah.
watching his dad go into the game.
Yeah.
And he's like in his jammies. So we get to see the sun, and then we also get to see the house, which is like,
you love getting that sneak peek at
I'm like,
athletes'
let
homes.
us in the home, because I'm like, wait, is the TV mounted in marble?
Yeah.
Like, and the little boy's so cute. He has like one slipper on, one slipper off, with his like pant legs sort of like he just got up. I love when you capture kids at their like purest kid forms. They're always missing a shoe.
Well, I've shown clips of you on network TV
Mm-hmm.
doing stand-up and Conrad watching. So it is you very much know what that is like when our kid is watching you on TV.
Oh, yeah, when I'm clocking into an NBA game. I remember even the first time I ever did late night, I did Conan, and I wasn't a mom at the time, but I was a nanny, and they sent me a video. Oh, it's going to make me tear up. They sent me a video of the baby I nannied for watching me walk out on Conan, and he started clapping and cheering, and it was so sweet to me. Like, it still moves me to be like, screens are good for kids. No.
We are
That's
pro
the
screen
message.
time.
We got to put more. No, it's just like really so sweet for these kids to like look up and go, oh my gosh, I know that person and they're on TV, even though you could literally be on a YouTube video that has 11 views and tell them it is an Emmy-winning show.
It's us versus Bluey. You know?
Yeah, Blue's Clues.
Blue's Clues.
Blue's Clues is the top, and he's Filipino.
Josh is a much better looking version of me.
I wouldn't go that far, but he's just another kind of Filipino that's on TV, and he has a song that goes, "I'm
shape.
Filipino."
Yeah.
You need a Filipino song.
Yes, he is the LeBron of Filipinos to me right now.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, Manny Pacquiao.
All right, on co-captains, we celebrate the parents and children duos in sports history. So I thought, let's do a power ranking to give that spotlight of some of the greatest parent-children duos in sports history. So we're going to start at 5, and we'll go to 1 and shout out some of these duos.
Okay. So this one's like a real homer pick of mine. It's not on our list. We got a great list from producer Max. Thank you so much. I will be going off script to select Detroit Pistons, Jaden Ivey, and Notre Dame head women's basketball coach Niall Ivey. His mother. She also played for the Indiana Fever. Jaden played at my alma mater, Purdue. And she played for Notre Dame, now is the head coach of Notre Dame, which is a basketball school despite also being
and they're very good.
A football powerhouse. Her son is in the NBA, and he gives so much credit to his mom. Like, I think a lot of times we think of like father son, and they're a duo that like turns that on its head, where it's like she's a hooper and he's a hooper, and there's so many adorable pictures and clips of him as a little boy just shooting at practice while she's an assistant coach somewhere.
And I would, up and coming star on the Pistons, like
that we wish a speedy
Yeah.
recovery to. Such a good kid, and he was having like a breakout season. I cried when the Pistons took him at 5.
I know.
But then we got Benedict Mathurin, who I also love.
Yeah, but we were like trade up.
Yes.
Like, it makes too much sense, trade up.
Yes, just Indiana royalty to me. So I'm taking them at 5, and I know that may be a little out of the box.
No, I think that's good. And I will give, because this duo doesn't make our top 5, honorable mention to JaVale and Pam McGee, because another good example of like, you think, oh, son in the NBA, the dad's professional, but
she goes to bat for him too, right?
She was like, when Shaq was like making fun of JaVale in his early on in his career, she told Shaq to stop doing that.
Yep.
And he did.
And
he's an NBA champion.
And I think he apologized too.
Yes. So that's a good call out.
That's what I feel like moms want to do that. That's our instinct. We're like, oh no, is that going to make it worse for the kid?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have like the cachet as a mom to be like, you need to stop talking about my son.
Yeah.
Without them being like, oh, your mom tattled on us. Like, oh, CJ knows I love yelling at kids that aren't mine. Ooh, on a playground, if I see a kid acting up, I go, no.
Yeah. Okay. My next, I guess at number 4 here, I don't know that much about his dad, but I just know that he's brought up every time they talk about him. But Christian McCaffrey and Ed McCaffrey.
Yes.
Christian McCaffrey, one of the best running backs in the league. And again, I didn't pay attention or watch football that much during Ed McCaffrey.
I think we were children.
We were children, but it is like, oh, of course, like the way they talk about Christian, they're like, of course, the McCaffrey family are just freak athletes.
I know they both played in a Super Bowl.
Yes.
When I interviewed Christian McCaffrey, I remember asking him, there is footage, pictures of him playing in the confetti as like a toddler, like a baby almost, when I believe his dad must have won.
He won 3 Super Bowls.
Yes.
Christian has played in a Super Bowl.
Yes.
I think they earned that power ranking because Ed won those Super Bowls, but Christian McCaffrey is one of the best running backs in the league right now.
And you could make the argument that his wedding this past year was the Super Bowl of 2024 weddings.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going off script again.
Okay. No, that's good. These are just suggestions.
Because I got to give it to, and they share a name, Marvin Harrison Sr., Marvin Harrison
That's a good
Jr.
one.
Marvin Harrison Sr. won a Super Bowl, is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Colts legend.
Yeah.
Like, I love him. And I almost think he's so good that it's like kept Reggie Wayne from being in the Hall of Fame, where he also deserves to be. Okay, so that's a special shout out to Reg. And Marvin Harrison Jr. just finished his rookie season with the Cardinals. They're gonna figure it out. I don't know if it'll be there, but any team that has him is lucky to have him. Absolute standout at Ohio State, was a Heisman finalist, and just a going to be superstar. You have the same name as your dad. That's a Hall of Famer. That's a tough thing to step into, and I think he's done it beautifully. And if he was on the Colts, I would fall to my knees and scream with delight.
And that's what I will say about the any teams that find themselves in this position where they can draft, one of their alumni or like former players who was a star kid. Like, I don't care if you don't have an early pick, trade up to get that pick, especially when you're in a position where you're not, in the conversation to go far in the playoffs or win the Super Bowl. Give up some assets, get that. Like, that to me is like the definition of like this person or thing can do one of the funniest things ever. Draft Marvin Harrison Jr. on the Colts.
Dion and Shador, also not on this list. I think probably honorable mention.
Yes.
I do think Shador, I hope beyond hope that he has an impactful, great NFL career, because I think he's really fun to watch. Dion is obviously legend on the field, off the field. We stand Dion, love Dion. Got to get some of those sunglasses. And I'm only putting Marvin Harrison Jr. and Sr. on your team because like Marvin Harrison means more to me than some of my uncles.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick. That was number 3. Okay, number 2. Oh, this is tough. Okay, I'm going to say what I would have thought was number 2, and now not making the list. Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. is not making my list. It would... Ken Griffey Jr. I think is so well known. And again, maybe it is just
like... They played at the same time.
Yes, they were. That was like talked about a lot during the Bronny and LeBron thing. I will say instead, I got to go. We talked about them earlier in the show. Archie, Peyton, and Eli Manning. Okay, like we were saying duos. This is a trio. Archie Manning was
Saints quarterback, never made it to the playoffs.
I know, but
not a great team. You always see bags on the head from that era, and then he produces two Super Bowl winning. Hall of Fame, and Eli's probably in the Hall of Fame because he has those 2 Super Bowl wins. He didn't necessarily have like this incredible overall career, but those are your 2 sons, and the Manning cast alone.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's safe to say, starting a broadcasting legendary career.
Yes.
Not necessarily traditional broadcasting. They have a media empire in Omaha. But yes, I think just the fact everything that they've done earned themselves at number 2.
And now Cooper's son, Cooper,
I should have taken them 1, actually, now that I think about
playing at Texas.
Yeah.
And like we see wheels on him. Okay, so
it's all pressure's on you to do number 1.
And I do have
It's okay.
But now it's like,
yeah.
Can I do a two-way tie?
Sure.
I know that really defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
But so I'm gonna have to do a two-way tie, which means 4 people. There's not someone I can leave off.
Yeah, I don't think we did this list correctly, but it's the purpose of shouting them out.
Steph and Dell, I'll let you take it away. They got to go on the list.
But again, it's another one of those lopsided things where Steph has such an incredible career, and also, but Dell was a role player. He had a great career, but Steph is one of the top 5 NBA players of all time. I like this one.
You think top 5?
Yes, and I think that because just in the way he's also changed the game. Every guard out there plays like Steph right now.
Every center tries to play
every
Steph.
center is like, can you shoot a 3?
And I go, why don't you step in the paint?
Yeah. You sound like your dad right now.
I sound like an elderly man going, hey, why are you shooting
What's
a
up,
3?
big man? Squeezing the bicep. Anyways, and also the reason why I think that one's number 1 is just so well documented.
Yes.
Like, again, like we've
Baby
talked
Steph.
about. Yeah, baby Steph.
Now, do you know who I'm going to pick as my other one?
Oh, no. Go for it.
I'm from Indianapolis, baby. I'm going racing. Dale Jr., Dale Sr.
Wow. Yeah, that is a big
These
deal.
are just Dale Sr., a tragic, horrific, heartbreaking death in the sport.
It's like he's Michael Jordan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
An iconic, maybe greatest like stock car racer of all time. His son then is able to like
be LeBron.
Is then able to go, this sport killed my father and I love it so much and I love him so much that I am going to continue our family legacy and also win. And I think racing probably has more successful family duos than any other sport because you've got the Unsers, the Andrettis, the Earnhardts. Like it just father sons go on to do this and become team owners, and they're legendary. Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
A
movie about NASCAR?
Yeah, but
no,
great performance.
Honestly, and I said it like seconds ago, I was like, this list is wrong. That's a really good one because we were like, oh, it's lopsided. This, kid or parent was better than the other. Those were both like iconic, legendary, great careers, both of them. So that's a great pick.
Oh my gosh. My rib hurts from pregnancy.
Shout out Megan's rib. But yeah, I thought that's a great list. Great way to end another episode of Co-Captains.
We're going to be in D.C. this weekend watching the Super Bowl with our family and sweet little nieces who are Colts and Packers
I am
fans.
excited.
I had 2 shows at the Kennedy Center on Saturday night, 7 and 9:30 in D.C.
Go to those.
Shout out to Fangirl Clothing. This is my number 1 sweatshirt. CJ's probably sick of seeing it because I did evacuate.
Nice.
This was one of 2 pieces of clothing I evacuated with. And I love this sweatshirt. I'm wearing it all the time. Oh, last plug. I wrote for the Critics' Choice Awards. It airs Friday, hosted by Chelsea Handler. So funny. And I think just like we're in awards season and the Grammys were excellent. And I think Critics' Choice are going to be an even better follow-up to it.
I have this podcast. That's what I'm going to plug.
Yeah.
Follow through. I'm not going to bring it up. But
we are going to be out of town, and so we are missing.
We got invited to sit in a suite.
Free tickets
for Lakers Pacers,
which is like a second wedding reception for us. It's so important to us, and we are going to be out of town for it, so I can go do stand-up comedy. And it does appear that might be when Luka also makes his
Laker
debut. So,
but listen,
tough L.
I'm not mad.
To you,
Luka's gonna play for the Lakers for the next 10-15 years, and this is what marriage and parenting is all about making sacrifices. And will I hang this over her head for the next year? Yes.
Oh, until next week's episode when I bring up that you're going to be out of town on Valentine's Day to go to the All-Star game. So stay tuned for the tables turning and me being the upset one next weekend.
This is the lives of sports parents right here.
Yeah. But I love you, and I love the Colts, and I love the Pacers.
And we love Whistle Sports.
And I love the Fever. Caitlin Clark's jersey retirement. Asia Wilson's jersey retirement. Yep. Asia Wilson's sneakers are what the Barbie shoes should have been.
Those are really sick.
Amazing.
Nike, send them to us.
You got it right.